Hello and welcome to the Mind Over Mic podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I will say right up top, this is possibly one of my absolute favorite episodes that I've ever recorded. This was a real, true treat for me. On this episode, I am joined by the co-founder of Smokestack Records. Smokestack Records is currently a booth in the Generalist General Store, which is located in downtown Johnson City, Tennessee. We talk about the origins of Smokestack almost 10 years ago when my guest was only 17 years old and started this journey. We talk about how they went from pop-ups and small events to expanding in their space and selling awesome merch like this t-shirt that I purchased myself, wore for the episode, and accidentally twinsied with the guest the entire episode. We talk about all things records, all things music, and all things passion, and those are three of my absolute favorite things. In the episode, we discuss his sizable record collection and how his musical taste and influence has evolved from childhood to now. We talk about some of the strange places he's wound up in and some of the characters he's encountered by collecting these records, getting them ready to sell. And we talk about the awesome partnership that he has with his co-founder, Matt. Please support Smokestack Records. If you love records, if you love music, if you love awesome t-shirts or badass hats, go to the Generalist, buy their stuff, support them, and support my awesome guest on this episode, Mr. Hank Collie.
So,
cool.
This is my first podcast.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So literally, we can talk about whatever. We'll talk about records for sure. We'll talk about Smokestack. We'll talk about Generalist. We'll talk about your day job if you want. We'll talk about your childhood, whatever. I will say my mom's a psychologist, and I grew up in that house. Yeah. So typically, these conversations will slip in that direction.
No worries.
But, that's totally up to you. I am curious, too, because I'm a lifelong Bristol guy, too, and I don't think we've ever crossed paths before. So are you originally from Bristol?
Johnson City.
Okay, Johnson City,
gotcha. In the neighborhood.
Essentially,
sure.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
For sure. Did you like growing up here at all?
Yeah, I think I've come to appreciate it a lot more now that I'm a bit older.
Yeah.
I think it's common experience growing up in a smallish town where, you think about, there's nothing to do around here. I need to get out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was never something that really stuck with me. And I grew up in a family, granola parents.
Okay.
My mom was a science teacher forever, has a microbiology degree. We were always out hiking and camping and stuff like that. So I always loved that kind of stuff. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a park ranger. And so we live in the perfect area for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I still love, going out and hiking. And
Did you interact with Marty Silver at all?
Yeah.
Dude, he'll make anybody want to be a ranger.
I know.
He was supposed to come on the show at one point.
Really?
And then
That
I
would
kind
be
of
a fun
lost
one.
contact with him, and he just never, I tried to circle back.
Yeah.
Couldn't get
I've
him.
seen at the
I'd kill to get
Generalist,
one.
they have a little sticker with him on it.
Really?
It's pretty funny, yeah.
That dude, I think he's come up on the show before, but for anybody listening who's not familiar, Marty Silver is a legendary local park ranger for, I think, Warriors Path in Kingsport.
Yeah.
And he's been there for, I don't know, probably 60 years, no joke, probably 50 or 60 years, and he goes to the school systems locally, and at least in my case, he would always bring an owl or a fox pup or something and teach the kids about stuff. It was so cool.
If you went to elementary school in the area and some dude showed up with a lizard, that's
the
Marty
guy.
Silver's.
The little silver-headed, and also he's crazy. That's my favorite part about it is that he was nuts and so funny, and the teachers loved it, I think, as much as we did when he would come and break up the classroom. Yeah, I could see that with a park ranger. I could see how locally that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So you still spend a lot of time outdoors, though, and kind of pursue it. Yeah.
Yeah, still love that. And so, the older I got, the less I tried to take that kind of stuff for granted. The area we live in is so beautiful.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So, happy to be here.
Dude, I think I took it for granted a lot growing up. I think not as much anymore. I'm pretty aware of it. But until I was like 20, 21, I really same thing. You mentioned like small town, like, ugh, I hate it here.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I do it on the show every week. Actually, I definitely still do it.
I mean,
but
there's nothing wrong with the little
right.
bit of it.
It's also true. Like, there's not a ton to do. But as far as nature goes, it's something I've really grown to appreciate. I left when I was 21 and traveled the whole country in a van by myself and saw some really amazing things. And then when I came home, I remember for the first time ever being like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
You have to kind of leave to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Absolutely.
is a good way to say. And it was special. But that small town thing is so funny too. I was doing a show in Harriman, Tennessee last Friday, and right outside of Oak Ridge, outside of Knoxville, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
In fact, like the show we did when I went on stage, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the biggest room in the town of Harriman. Like the room we were in was huge, and I was like, this place is nowhere. And a bunch of bros were there. They were very nice, and they came up after, and they're talking to the comics, and taking pictures, and getting stickers and stuff. And they were like, telling me about Harriman, and they were like, man, we go walk around Walmart. And I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, I grew up in the same town. I was like, I know everything. And he was like, you come back next time, man, we'll burn wood. We'll go hang out. And I'm like, yeah.
That's how you know you're in.
Yeah.
You got the invite to burn wood.
They love me. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up between Blountville and Bristol for all of it. So I'm aware of walking around Walmart because there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you, if you don't?
I am 26.
26.
Yeah.
So am I. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're on the same. I thought pretty close. So I feel like it was pretty much the same Tri-Cities for both of us. Now you had the mall. I will say Johnson City had the mall. We would make the commute, the 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't much of a mall rat kid, to be honest.
Sure. Granola parents.
Yeah. My wife has a lot more stories of getting dropped off at the mall and just roaming around for the day.
Oh, yeah. My mall's a casino now. So that's a little different. You know, they took my mall away.
I don't even remember going in it when it was a mall. I'm sure I probably did at some point as a kid.
It was probably in rough shape by then. I think by the time you and I were old enough, and I went quite a bit, but there was empty stalls.
Yeah.
And it was on its way out for sure. But I mean, on the nature side of things, locally, what would you guys do as a kid? I mean, Buffalo Mountain obviously is right there. And did you guys do like Roan Mountain and stuff like that? Like big hikes?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad's like a hiking nut. So like he would buy all these different, best hikes and East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, North Carolina.
Studying.
Yeah. He had all these reference guides.
Doing his due diligence. That's awesome.
He's a particularly big fan of this guy, Johnny Malloy, who's a local hiking writer. So shout out Johnny Malloy.
God, I hope he's listening. I'd love to have him on. That's the other thing about this show is like, I'm just like, yeah, if I could see me talking to you for an hour, I'm like, you want to come on the show? Like that's, I've had people in here, like in your case, we just met. I've had a lot of people I've met for the first time, or there's people like Laura that I've only met in like a professional setting. And she comes on here and I find out she went to like acting school in Los Angeles.
I was listening to her episode.
Chicago.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know any of that about her. Turns out she's really cool. Who knew? Yeah. Shout out to Laura as well, Laura Eschbach and the Generalist. So that's actually how I reached out to you. It just occurred to me that I didn't change shirts, which I meant to. We're wearing the same shirt. I should say, so Smokestack Records, tell me about the origin of that, because the way I got introduced to you is I just started buying records at the Generalist, and back when you guys had just a little stand in the middle of the room, and then now you've expanded and have all these crazy things. I mean, what has that process been like? First of all, when did it start for you, Smokestack?
Yeah, so we actually, we started with pop-ups. We had our first pop-up in 2017, so we're approaching 10 years now.
Wow. And you're 17 at the time.
Yeah.
Give or take. Wow. Yeah. Good for you guys, man.
We
That's
had
awesome.
Late high school, just graduated, that type of thing. I'd grown up in a house where like my dad always had records. He's like a audio purist type of dude. And especially over the last decade where I've gotten really into records, it's like totally reunited his love for records.
Yeah.
So that was kind of always fun to share that. And then I come from a very like musical family.
Gotcha.
Like a lot of them, my little brother's a musician and plays guitar.
Do you play anything?
No, I actually don't.
Really?
I think the musical gene like jumped over me, but it got everyone else.
Well, you have like the appreciation, without the practice. I'm the same way. I have my grandfather's guitar that I inherited downstairs, and it's beautiful. And I like once a year, I'll take it out of the case and play the same 4 solos, and then put it up and be like, it's good till next year. I can't
I mean, I can't
practice.
Even do that,
I can't. I just can't. I don't know. I never could. I played drums off and on for a couple of years when I was a kid, but I'm heavy into music. I just can't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of comics actually secretly wish we were musicians. Yeah.
I mean, that seems like that would make sense.
We wish we were rock stars, but a lot of musicians wish they were comics too. I've learned. Since hanging out, it's like a kindred spirit thing. I think.
Yeah.
In a weird
I can
way.
see that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's just performative. You know, it's like it's performance I can do, kinda.
Yeah.
It's like how I went up there, and we were talking a little before too about I think probably a solid safe estimate 30% of my collection is a Smokestack record.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Dude,
so, I mean,
I'm kidding you guys. Actually, I might be responsible for that expansion recently. That might be just me. Hey, sorry for the interruption. Just want to tell you about a couple quick shows I have in the near future. On the 27th of June, I'm going to be over in Raleigh, North Carolina, doing a good time comedy show for the great and powerful Mr. Joel Fooster. Very excited to be back in Raleigh. On the 28th, I'm going to be doing the North Carolina's Funniest competition at Good Nights Comedy Club in Raleigh. I am so very excited for that. So if you're listening to this from Raleigh, please come vote for me and tell them you did it without bias. On the 18th of July, we've got our next Don't Tell Tri-Cities comedy show. That's going to be in Johnson City, Tennessee, with an amazing returning headliner all the way from Nashville. We've not seen him in over a year, so very excited for that one. On the 24th of July, I'm going to be up in Washington, D.C. doing Don't Tell D.C. for the also great and powerful Mr. Owen Vacheron. I've probably got some more D.C. dates coming up around that time, so I'll announce those on the next episode. But I'm announcing it now on the 28th of July. Please, God, come to Abingdon, Virginia. Myself, Travis Stevenson, and several other very talented local comedians are going to be doing an awesome show where we all do 5 minutes at the legendary Barter Theater. That's on the 28th. Come out and support live comedy. Now back to the episode. I absolutely love the selection, and the prices I think are very fair and everything about it, but I think that I cannot imagine running it, especially at 17. Was that scary at all at the time, or was it kind of just like, this is something I want to do?
No, and I mean, it started very small. I mean, it still doesn't feel like big by any means.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think we started just because, so I don't know that we've mentioned this yet, but I run Smokestack with my buddy Matt.
Yeah, right.
We went to high school together. Yeah. And so all through high school, you know, we got into the same kind of music at the same time. Like, you know, we always had that.
Gotcha.
Started collecting records at the same time. You know, he has a somewhat similar situation where he had an uncle that's like really into records. And I think, you know, so both of us kind of had those influences merging together. So we both, you know, around that 16-ish started like really getting into record collecting. Right.
Which we should say too, I think, from my experience at least, in 2016, it was not super common or cool.
No, I mean,
among 16-year-olds.
It was already, like, it was starting to come back.
Sure.
But it's grown so much in the last decade.
I know. Now when I go in record stores, I'm like, I'm turning into a curmudgeon old man already. I'm 26, and I'm like, back in my day, I could get that for $2.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. And they're popping up everywhere, you know, and I think I always see like high school kids and stuff like that, you know, they wear the band t-shirts now again, and they got the vinyls on their wall. Not that I'm in high schoolers' bedrooms, but like I assume they're big into albums again and the vinyl, which I think is great. I'm always curious, like, where does this, you know, where does it lead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, another element is like my day job. I'm a graphic designer and illustrator.
Same here. Which is weird.
Yeah.
We're going to find a lot. I had a feeling we're going to find a lot. Yeah.
So I think, you know, I appreciated it too from the standpoint of having like a nice 12 by 12 piece of artwork in front of you. And I always loved that tactile piece of it.
Yeah.
So that was exciting for me. But yeah, we started around that time, just building our collections. And then I don't remember exactly how we decided to have a sale the first time, other than that I think, you know, we were both young, didn't have a ton of income.
Sure.
Records, you know, they were cheaper then, but they still weren't cheap.
Yeah.
And I think at one point pretty early on, we kind of realized that a good way to grow our collections would be to find someone who was selling their record collection, and then we would pick out all the stuff we wanted and sell all the stuff we didn't.
Yeah.
So our first sale was at the Tree Streets yard sale in Johnson City.
Right.
And it was just like one little table, like smaller than this table here, probably like 3 crates of records and like a little sign.
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't think we had any thoughts of like, we're going to be doing this for the next decade.
Right.
It was just like, let's clear out some of our records and make some money for some more records.
So it's literally like, we both love this thing. Well, why don't we? I think so often you expect with people like, and that's when, you know, the clouds parted and there was a vision. This is my a lot of times I don't know that it's that so much as it's just like, hey, we just kind of love this thing. You want to just try it?
Right.
Or do it. And then you just do, and then a decade later.
Yeah.
So that first time too, I mean, you got a couple dozen records. Did you sell out? Did you make a profit? Do you remember that at all? Or
yeah, I remember selling a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure we didn't make a ton of money, but I remember we were pretty excited at the
profit
time.
Margins
we had some cash
cannot be huge on albums. I mean, even 10 years in, you know, I'm sure it's better than then, but
yeah,
it
fluctuates. But
sure.
It was fun, and I mean, it was fun to have people come up. Like, I don't know what kind of turnout we were really expecting, but I remember like we had put a little ad out on like Craigslist or something that we were going to be there selling records.
Yeah.
And like 30 minutes before the sale even started, there was like cars parked, like waiting. We were like, whoa, we weren't expecting this.
Yeah. So you found a market like on accident.
And I'm probably gonna do a lot of shout outs on this episode.
Please do.
But we have
every week. That's all
there's
I
some
do.
people that like I remember came to that very first sale that still shop with us.
Really?
Like that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So like shout out Frank. He's
Shout
one
out
of our
to Frank.
record buddies.
10-year
He's a
Frank.
day one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's so interesting too that it's definitely something you and I share an appreciation for as far as albums go. But honestly, I'm always shocked at like your episode 40 or 39 of the show. I think probably every one of those that's walked in my front door and seen has been like, oh, this is so cool. Like, even if you don't collect, most people think it's cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll even stop and look through and not buy anything.
Right.
I'm sure that happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, music, you know, it brings people together.
It does.
You don't have to have a big record collection to love music. I mean, everybody loves music.
And it triggers memories, too. That's another thing I think is really special about Smokestack, and I guess just records in general, is like, I've bought albums from you all, again, no telling how many, that correlate to a memory, a person, a time in my life, something. And now that's down there on that shelf, and when I look at it, it triggers these emotions, all these things, and that's just because you had that for me. You know, that's a special... You guys almost like live in people's homes and in their memories a little bit.
It's a
really
strange thing to think about, but I think that was one of the most like special aspects, especially of those pop-up days, is we would be there selling records and would, you know, be able to see someone like have that excitement of finding something they were looking for, whether it was a 16-year-old buying their first Beatles record or like another common one we would get would be, you know, someone that was middle-aged or a bit older that would be like, oh, I sold off my collection in the 90s and I'm trying to find them again, and this was one of my favorite records back in the 70s, and just like happy to be reunited with it. So
that's really
there's so
special.
Many cool stories like that.
Reunited is such a great word too, because it is like you've kind of lost something. And I mean, you can pull it up on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, but it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same. And I think I mentioned to you when you got here too, my girl and I were talking on the phone, and she was like, "You're gonna be like obnoxious to that guy." And I was like, I'm gonna try to not get too heady about it or too overwhelming. But it's so special, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
Matt and I are both just record nerds at heart. So
I'm sure you're probably honestly, this may be the first time ever I've been confident I know less about records than the person I'm sitting across from, which is great. I love it.
Well, I mean, it's like an endless library. I mean, there's so much you could do this for 75 years, and there'd be so much you didn't know. So, I mean, you know, we're always learning.
always learning. I just bought. We were looking downstairs. It's a Sears console, and it's from 1972. And when I bought it, I knew it worked. She mentioned that it worked. It was very cheap. It was off Marketplace. Went and picked it up myself and brought it home. Cosmetically, it's perfect, which is why I wanted it, because it's kind of a mini bar. And the plan was to gut it and make it a full mini bar. And then when I got it home and plugged it in, and I was like, I can't hurt this animal. I brought it to my, it was too nice. And it has, you can stack up to like 1045s on it, and they drop when the song's over. Yeah. And I sat there and played with it all night. Like, I was like, look at it. It dropped, and it still works. Stuff like that is like, it's 60-year-old technology, but for some reason, it just really tickles my brain, man. I just love it. I really do. And I have Spotify on the TV. I have an Alexa downstairs. I can just tell to play the song, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I mean, there's no arguing that streaming is way more convenient. Sure. That's just the nature of it. But it's just special to, pick out a record and spend a little time with it.
Yeah, and to sit and go, for 45 minutes, I'm going to not do other stuff. Yeah. I'll even, and I usually try to have, an album playing in the living room when a guest comes over and stuff like that, just to kind of set the tone and stuff. But I don't very often take time for myself. I remember when I moved into the apartment, one of the first things I did when I got everything all set up was I'm going to take a night. I'm just going to put a record on. And I put on What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. It's maybe my favorite album ever. Yeah. It's also recorded at a time period that all my equipment was out, so it sounds like it was designed for my speakers and my thing. And I remember sitting in my floor, I didn't even have a couch yet, and just going, wow. Yeah. This is a almost spiritual experience in a way of you can listen to that on Spotify in your car all day long, man. That's not the same thing. No. It's just not the same thing. And you can kind of I felt at least with my system, you could feel it. You feel the vibrations hitting your body. Yeah. It's totally different. That's really special.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cool that you guys obviously it's a business and you always want to do well enough to keep doing it. But the idea that you're aware of the impact, I think. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely try to be. I mean, like I said, I would hope it would be obvious to all of our customers, but we're not in it to get rich or something like that. We're in it because we love records.
It's a bad business.
I mean, sure, it is a nice little side hustle.
Sure.
And, helps pay the bills a bit. But, at the end of the game, or at the end of the day, we're not doing it to make money.
Yeah. I wonder, too, how much of your time would you say at this point, 10 years in, is devoted to managing and running your booth at the Generalist? And then you all still do pop-ups occasionally and stuff too, right? Or is it just the booth for now?
We do still do the occasional pop-up. I think we did one back in March, and then we've got another one coming up in July.
Okay. That'll be right about the time this is out, so that'll be perfect.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. What's the date? Do you happen to know?
I believe it's the 19th off the top of my head.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. It's a Sunday.
Okay.
Awesome. If you want me to pitch that real quick.
Do it. Plug it. We'll plug it at the end, too, but now's good, too. Whenever.
It's Big Lon is a local record legend, and he does a record show in partnership with Fun Fest each year.
Really?
So they'll be I feel like he gets 60 tables of records every year, dealers from all around the region. Yeah. So we'll be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's all. And I know that locally, at least, and I'm sure if anyone's listening from not super local, there's always events and stuff. I've been to several of the record swaps and record days and things, and I used to get probably a fair percentage of my collection came from a flea market booth. There's an old man named Tim who used to have a booth down there. Do you know?
Tim.
Do you
really? Bought a lot of records off Tim.
Sweet guy. He passed away, I think, right? Yep. His booth disappeared one day, so I assume. But he was pretty old when I was going. Yeah. I really loved him, but man, that booth was a little dicey sometimes.
He was a character, man.
Yeah.
We would always call him the best worst person there was.
Literally.
He was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
But a sweetheart at the same time.
His son was also involved in a particular secret society of Southern origin, if you catch my drift. And so occasionally I would go in there and there'd be a group of these fellas.
I didn't catch one of those.
A clan of these gentlemen, if you may, just kind of hanging out. And I'd be like, are these records worth this? Yeah. Do I want to be seen in this booth right now?
Thankfully, we missed those.
Dude, I used to have a joke about it, actually, on stage, but it's I don't know if that's how I want to spend my Saturday morning.
Yeah. No, we bought a lot of records off him.
Me too.
Probably should be a little sensitive with what I say on the show, but we got in with him to the point where like he would have us over to his house every now and then to dig. He had this like basement full of records.
I remember
it was
him,
more like a crawl space.
You know, many times he invited me for that, and I always turned it down.
I mean, it was
this is so crazy that we're talking about the same guy. But literally, I remember him being, because he knew I was trying to get Johnny's full discography. He'd be like, I got a lot of it in the basement. Come on over. And I'd be like,
he had a strict no women and children allowed in the basement rule.
I believe that.
And it was for good reason. Yeah. He had another collection aside from records.
I've heard. I've talked to him about it.
And so it was kind of half records, half posters.
Magazines. And Sure. Yeah, he was a fascinating character.
Yeah,
that's absolutely. You know, in hindsight too. I wasn't doing the show at the time, but that's exactly the type of guy I would love to sit in that chair right there. And just go talk, man.
He could tell some
just
stories.
Talk, yeah, and just like let you be the show. You know.
Yeah.
Also, he had a guy helping him who was really nice, but used to creep me out a little bit. I don't know if there's no shot this guy's listening, and you don't have to weigh in because you might still see this guy. Really nice. Used to creep me out, man. Like, that booth was so love-hate for me, where it was like, there's some good finds in there.
Yeah. I mean, you never knew what you were going to run into.
Never.
Like, and what was going to come out of his mouth. One time I was just sitting there looking through Creator Records, and he turns around to me, and he goes, you know, Hank, worst thing I ever did was shoot my best friend. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, Tim? And he was like, it didn't kill him. I just hit him in the leg. And I was like, all right. How much do you want for this one?
Right. So 3 good on this. Yeah. Unprompted. Man.
I loved him. So
I did too. I did too.
I don't want to be talking bad about him.
No, well, that's the thing. We've not said anything dishonest at all.
No, that's who he was.
Who he was, man.
Record legend in the community.
Record legend. That's so crazy that you know him. I mean, there's a good chance that you and I like bumped elbows in that booth when we were both 16.
Yeah, for sure.
Hunting for, which is kind of wild. He was good to me, man. He would always work, deals and stuff. And I remember I took a big stack to him one time and was like, I'm gonna trade them in and give you all these, And he looked through them, and I think he took like one. Yeah. Everything else was like, he was kind of niche in his it was mostly country stuff. And I remember some of them I still have were like swing records or Sinatra stuff, and he'd be like, I don't want that shit. Literally, he'd just be like, no. He'd just hand it back to you. And be like, okay,
just tell it how it was.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but he was good. Like he would learn what you were after, and he would help you find it, which 100%. Was always cool. Like my wife was, Alison Krauss is one of her favorite artists, and like those late 80s, early 90s records are hard to find.
Yep.
And like, Tim found a couple and like brought them to us, and you can see how excited he was to like pass those along. And I mean, there's stuff like that where it's like never leaving our collection. And,
Cascade Draft House. I'm proud to tell you that Cascade Draft House is a proud first sponsor of the Mind Over Mike podcast. I'm very excited to team up with them, and they are a special business. If you love good beer, I know I do, you got to get down to Cascade Draft House. It's on State Street in Bristol, Tennessee, and they've got an amazing selection of 40 rotating taps, so there's always something new to try. They've got ciders, they've got seltzers, they've got IPAs, lagers, you name it. Tons of cool stuff, and it's not just about the drinks at Cascade. It really, truly is an awesome vibe in there. They've got open mic nights. There's fun for everybody. It's a great spot. Go and check out them, and thank Cascade Draft House for supporting the Mind Over Mike podcast. Now back to the episode. I'm the same way. I remember when I first started going, he knew I was working on Johnny Cash's discography, and one time we were talking about it, and I had taken him a list, I think that was like all, 250 Johnny albums. And he was like, I got them. Like all of them. And I was like, well, I can't drop $1,000 in here next week, Right. So I was like, he was like, which ones do you want? Literally. And I was like, dude, those Prison albums are like my favorite albums of all time. If I could find a halfway decent copy of either of those, and the next time I went in there, he had them both with my name on it. And I bought them.
I mean,
just
take care of you.
The best guy. The best guy. And I'm sure there's probably other characters like that I haven't encountered that you guys have. Big Lawn? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So Big Lawn, he is like another legendary record guy.
Okay.
not nearly as rough around the edges as Tim was.
Sure.
Big,
I don't mind. I like a little rough around the edges.
It makes it interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Big Lawn, his specialty is local records.
Ooh,
and
that's cool.
Specifically 45 singles.
Gotcha.
And he's got this extensive archive. I think he's literally working on trying to knock out every local 45 there was, or at least that he can identify. And I think he has ambitions of like compiling it all in a book. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I feel like one day like his collection's going to get passed on to some local archive or something. Like he's that level.
Wow.
But just like this incredible resource for,
that's awesome.
You know, and so many of those records, you know, were just bands, you know, could have been anyone like you and I that cut a record and there might only be 50, 100 copies. And a lot of them, you know, are probably in the landfills by now, but he's out there preserving them. So, I mean, what he does is really cool.
Also, to go locally, and I think this is maybe geographically a little specific, like to Bristol and stuff. I mean, you're talking about 100 years of recordings, literally. Like what are the first Carter recorded? 25? I mean, it's 101 years.
Yeah.
Recording.
The museum up in Bristol is all about the 27 sessions, so 100 years of next year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
100 years of things, and he's trying to compile. I mean, I'm getting overwhelmed just by Johnny's discography, and that's just like 50 years. 100 years is crazy.
It is, yeah.
That's so crazy. I always wonder, do you know Matt Smile? You know who that guy is? He owns Audio Oasis downtown Bristol. Okay. Great dude. He does recording sessions there now.
I've heard of his shop. I don't know that I've actually... cross paths with him.
Nice guy. He's got just like a recording booth down there, and he produces albums and stuff. At one point, he was coming on the show too. I think he maybe still will eventually. But nice guy, and he is still putting out recordings. And I mean, I think I'm pretty fascinated by that process too. Really, just anything music or comedy. But the idea that somebody could retrace that 100 years.
Yeah.
Every time somebody sang into a microphone locally. That's so cool.
It's wild.
It's
and there's
really
so many cool recordings.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out Big Lawn. He's got a radio show on Radio Bristol.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He actually goes into the studio and plays his 45s on the turntable. So if you're a record nerd, definitely check that one out.
I will. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I mean, do you think that obviously Smokestack has I'm sure impacted your love for music and records specifically, but meeting all these characters like our mutual friend Tim and others, like that's got to really bring a whole new wave to your music obsession too, right?
Yeah,
because you kind of feed off of that a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and there's so many characters and friends we've met along the way, and it's always you know, so many of us have all these, you know, shared interests and love the thrill of the chase and you know, love the hunt and you know, we get excited to see what other people have found. And
for sure.
You know.
I get excited about stuff too. Like I travel for stand-up a little bit, and when I'm in a town, you know, usually the show starts at 8. So I got all day. Like I don't golf or whatever. So I'll find a coffee shop and then a record store, and I'll hit a few in town. And I was kind of telling you downstairs, I'll just be like, hey man, you got any comedy? And they're always like, I think it's, you know, holding up the coffee table in the corner. Like they just, whatever. They don't care about comedy albums. Yeah. And they're cheap, and I'll flip through, and I've found what I consider great finds for so cheap. But the thrill of that is unlike anything else, I think, for me at least. I mean, I know just a couple weeks ago I was somewhere, and I bought, it might have even been from you guys, I bought a Dillard's album, a bluegrass album that I've spent 10 years looking for. And I could have ordered it off of Discogs or eBay or whatever. I wanted to just naturally one day flip and find it. And when I found it, it's very sentimental to me and my grandfather that's since passed and stuff. And I literally started crying. Like I called my girlfriend. I was like, I found it. Yeah. Like, that's awesome. You're never going to get that on Spotify. You know, it's not the same thing. It's not the same.
I mean, there's for sure been times I've gone online and bought albums I've been after.
Yeah.
But it's always so much more special, and like, you know, when I pull a record out of my collection that I like found at Goodwill or whatever, I remember being like, oh my gosh. It's always way more exciting to like pull that back out and remember that experience that came with it.
It's kind of like I guess just the natural like mystique of it or whatever, of like I happened to be here flipping through and there it was. You know, I think even last time I bought from from Smokestack, I was downtown. My girlfriend has been living in Raleigh for 2 months. She's in pharmacy school, and I've just not known what to do with myself, honestly. So it's like I'm either editing this show, doing stand-up, or I'm just completely bored out of my mind at night. So I went downtown to see a lot of our friends where we do don't tells and stuff, and I walked into the Generalist just to see Laura, and she wasn't there. And so I was like, I'm going to go. I knew you guys had expanded, and I was on the drive there. I was on the phone with my girlfriend. I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. Dude, I left with like 10 albums from you guys. And I called her, and she was like, you cannot just look. You know this about you.
Yeah,
like, I have a real problem.
Yeah, I can relate for sure. We've kind of, Matt and I have been talking about this recently. Like, we've gotten to points where we've been doing Smokestack for almost a decade. I've been collecting for over a decade.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I remember the early days we'd buy a collection and it would have, you know, all your basic classic rock, your Led Zeppelin, your Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And we would be so excited and those would go straight in our collection.
Yeah.
And like, we've seen so much of it now that it gets a little bit harder to like find those collections where we still want the stuff that's in it.
I bet you guys are jaded as all get out. Like stuff I would flip out over, you're probably like, that's the 8th one this week.
I mean, we probably are to a degree. There's no denying it.
Sure.
But still, like, we love passing them along. We love seeing other people excited about them.
Right.
So it's still super excited for us to find, you know, that classic rock collection where we might have every single record we would want out of it.
Yeah.
But we know that we can take this downtown to the Generalist and there's going to be 50 people come through and take home a record that they're super excited about. So like that element
is cool.
keeps it like really
it's almost like
fun.
Secondhand joy a little bit of like you already have it. And also and you might not know, surely to God you know, what's your collection? What number roughly? You're like your personal
like
stash. Do you have any idea roughly?
I try to keep it pretty high and tight, to be honest.
Sure.
The number's not necessarily going to sound high and tight. I think I have around 1,200 albums.
I knew it would be, because mine's 300, and I feel like to the late, like when most people come in, they're like, "That's a lot of records." But I knew with you, like, and also, who could blame it? You're constantly going
and
through
I mean,
it.
like,
we
both
crazy.
purge our collections.
That's
all
my
the
whole
time.
living room. I'm out of space with 300.
Yeah. It takes up a whole room.
Your girlfriend or your wife is definitely like, hey man.
Yeah, she's been incredibly gracious to. I mean, she's been putting up with it for over a decade.
Do you have like a storage unit where you keep these? Was like 1,200 is awesome. That's so awesome. You know what? I know my girlfriend's listening to this. Shut up. Like from now on, I don't want to hear it anymore about 300. Until I hit 1,200 now, she has no excuse.
Yeah. Shout out Hannah, my wife,
Shout out
for
Hannah.
Putting up with it.
Thank you so much for indulging.
Yeah, but as crazy as it sounds, like it might be 1,200, but it's all records I love and music I enjoy.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so much music I like.
Yeah, me too. I'm all over the place. Yeah. And then comedy and soundtracks adds a whole other element to it. Do you have any? Are you like? Do you keep any comedy at all around?
I really don't.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Most people don't. Most people. I mean, I have a lot of comics on the show. It's about 50-50. Yeah. And usually when they see that wall, you know, the Eddie Murphy and the Richard, they're like, oh my god! Yeah. And I'm like, most of that stuff's like $5.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean, like
less.
I was telling you earlier, it's good to know. I'll find some comedy albums.
Don't say that. Don't say that, because I might hit 1,200. I mean, I'm on my way. I think really the last 2 years, we mentioned a little. I am digital design and marketing for a chain of credit unions, so I spend all day, you know, photoshopping billboards and t-shirts, probably similar to you. I have an animation degree, so I do video effects and animation, all the things digital. So I think that's another reason that tactile physical thing kind of means something to me. Like you mentioned, like you can touch it, because I spend all day on a screen.
Right.
So it's a little different. But the last 2 years since I've been full-time in design, I have now a somewhat disposable income between that and comedy, to where like now I can go out on a Saturday and pick up 10 records. Really only the last couple of years. So I think I've probably leaped from 100 to 3 in about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've been collecting for 10.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like at this rate, I'll be at 1,200 before long. Yeah, it really will.
The scary thing is once you start to get, like, the more you get, the more expensive a lot of the records you haven't found yet become.
Right. I'm running out of the
so then
easy
you run out of the
finds.
$5 records. And
Exactly.
they start to become the $100-$500 records.
Yeah.
Which are a lot harder to swing.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many we could go on forever. But is there like is there one album that when you come across it you go like jackpot? Like either it's the most sought after, it's the most valuable, it's the one that when I put it in that booth, it is gone. And maybe you found it 1,000 times. I mean, is there?
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, maybe not like, this one doesn't break the bank or anything, but like a couple top of mind, like Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Dark Side of the Moon.
I was gonna say Dark Side of the Moon.
Thriller.
Yeah,
like,
all three of those I have. Not trying to brag, but
like,
yeah.
I could take 40 copies of Rumors down to the Generalist tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they would all be gone by Saturday.
I believe.
I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
So, like, we've probably had 100 copies of that over the years, but it's still fun to find because you're like, I know someone wants this.
Sell. That is also, oddly enough, that's the #1 album that's been on that wall.
Rumors?
On this show. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That one or I have the first album to Fleetwood Mac. I think probably five out of 40 episodes. It's been
that
Fleetwood
doesn't
Mac.
shock me.
Yeah, almost all of them. And
Classic.
I think only one Dark Side of the Moon. Spence, actually. Cascade. Dark Side of the Moon. Dude, I saw, just a brief little sidebar. I went to Bays Mountain a couple months ago and saw Dark Side of the Moon in the planetarium. They did like a laser light show presentation. I want to go back so bad.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
I need to do that. I mean, I think I did that as like a little kid.
I can't recommend it enough. And I think it's there through like the end of July. It's like 2 or 3 days a week at different times at Bays Mountain and Kingsport. I'm sure other planetariums and places do it too, but it was so cool. Yeah. It was I took my girlfriend and I didn't know this until we sat down. I was like, I'm so excited, and she was like, yeah, me too. I've never heard it. And I was like, what? Like she was like, couldn't tell you one song. Never heard. And she's not a huge music person anyways, but she got to experience, that was almost cooler to like watch her experience it for the first time in this crazy trippy. When we left, she was like, I didn't even take anything and I feel like I was tripping that entire time. I was like, yeah, it's great. It's so cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I don't think this is necessarily embarrassing. Maybe it is. Maybe if any of my customers hear this, they're gonna quit being customers after.
They're not gonna hear it. Don't worry.
But like, I think it was easy early into collecting, and like, I mean, both Matt and I are like obsessed with the discovery side of music.
Sure.
So I think we both went like obscure really fast and tried to get into all these crazy releases and like how weird can you get with it.
Right.
And then as I've gotten a little bit older, I mean, a lot of that stuff's still great, but like just this past year, I listened to Dark Side of the Moon all the way through for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
After
so it took
9 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
And you've probably sold 100 copies of it too, I'm sure.
So sorry to all the Dark Side
fans. Are you familiar with the Dark Side of the Rainbow thing? Do you know about this?
I don't think so.
So if you start Dark Side of the Moon, me doing stoner logic with you, if you start Dark Side of the Moon at the same time you start why did I just blank? Somewhere Over the Rainbow. What's the movie here? Jesus, what's wrong with me? The classic movie. Somebody listening right now is so pissed. Classic movie, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Why can I not think of it? Wizard of Oz. There we go. Jesus, man. Sorry, coffee's not kicking in. Wizard of Oz. If you start Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon at the same time, it like lines up.
Oh wow.
In this weird way, and I've done it a few times. Some sober, and it's like it is weird. It's so trippy. The transitions, the song change, everything like aligns perfectly with the scenes and it's really cool. It's a really cool little niche thing. And they've actually, it's got to the point where like, I think Roger Waters was on Joe Rogan and Rogan asked him about it and he was like, totally coincidence. Yeah. And Rogan was like, damn, like we really wanted that to be something you guys did on purpose. And he's like, no, it's 100% coincidence, which is kind of crazier almost. Really cool. It's cool. And I will say the laser light show thing at the planetarium, there was a couple of spots where that tech is just, I've done VR. So it's like planetarium tech is a little primitive. I did get a little dizzy a couple times. There's a couple spots. If you're a motion sickness person, you might want to abstain. But there's like 2 or 3 times I just kind of looked at the floor for a second. That was good, you know. And it's worth it, man. It's cool.
Yeah.
And just to be in a room of like whatever that seats, probably 100 people who are all there for it and love that album. And as soon as the lights came up, there was some dude sitting like in the row next to us, and he was like, "Yeah, I saw it live back in '82 or whatever." Like, there's
funny.
those guys. You know?
Yeah, I need to try it. Are you a Freaks and Geeks fan? Do you watch that? Have you ever seen that show?
I don't think I'm a fan, but I'm familiar for sure. Yeah.
There's a scene in that where the stoner crowd goes to the light show,
right?
Thinking
right.
I think it's either Dark Side or The Wall is what they're anticipating, and then like Freebird and like Skynyrd starts playing, and they're all like groaning. So.
Love that too.
Yeah.
Love Skynyrd too. I do want to ask too, because I mean, I think we touched a little on like records specifically, how you started, but when you're a kid walking around your house or on a hike or whatever, what's like playing? Like who's playing it? What's dad listening to? What's mom listening to? What are some of those like early music influences for you?
Yeah, I think my dad's favorite band is Rush. Listened to a lot of Rush growing up.
Interesting. I somehow avoided that. I will say that was never played for me as a kid. Yeah, never any Rush.
My mom and my dad both love Tom Petty.
Great.
I mean, a lot of like classic rock.
Yeah.
My dad also is like a big blues nut, and my dad he's one of those people that really likes technical proficiency. Like I like things raw around the edges.
Sure. You like Tim. He likes Big Lawn. Sure. That makes sense.
It's a good parallel.
It's two different worlds. It's two different worlds completely, man. I get it.
But yeah, like for example, he loves blues, and like his favorite is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Sure.
Like the most technically perfect guitarist
Brilliant.
you could find.
Yeah.
And I like it crunchy and distorted, like some Howlin' Wolf or something.
Right. I love that too.
So I don't know, but a lot of blues.
God, you're speaking my. This is like my favorite episode we've ever done. Speaking my language already. My girlfriend's already hit pause, by the way. As soon as I called her out, she's not even listening. But I'm in hog heaven here. This is, I do, and too, like the blues thing is so interesting because I think comedy has so many parallels to music, which has come up on the show a lot. But I know comics that are like jazz comics, like they're more freeform or they're more technical or whatever. And then I know comics that are a little more rough around the edges, a little more abrasive, a little more whatever, a little more. Nate Bargatze's really famous right now. I would say he's more in that like very refined, soft elevator music, like easy listening, whatever, yacht rocky type of room. And then you got other guys who are not that, who are just like all gas, no brakes. I think music's so interesting too. Was there ever like a clash in your house between your mom and dad? Was it ever like, turn that garbage off, I want to hear whatever?
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That feels typical, I think.
I'm trying to think of like a specific example. I feel like if it would start to get like, I don't know, my dad got into all these like funk bands for a minute, which I like a lot of that stuff too.
I do too.
But like, I don't know. I think a specific example would be like, he was playing this Tower of Power record one time.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not, but like, I can imagine from the title.
Crazy horns going this way, heavy drums, and I think my mom was just trying to like chill out. And
she's like, that's enough.
Times where, like, it can be a bit overstimulating.
Yeah, it's enough of the Tower.
But I don't know. It's also been funny to see like, as me and my brother and have gotten older and been introducing my parents to new sounds and new types of music. Like, it's funny, artists that they might have heard for the first time, and we're like, and now they're like playing all the time in the house. So I don't know. It's funny how it works. I mean, too. I think it's good for your taste to constantly be changing. Mine certainly does. So
I'm sure. Well, you're always finding new stuff too, like physically to hold. I mean, I'm trying to think I think when it comes to Ural's booth, most of the things I have picked up there have been probably classic rock and country. But as far as like your actual specific taste, you think those are your two biggest avenues? Also, are you just tired of country from working with the museum and everything? Like, are you like, that's work to me? Because the brain can definitely associate. Like, honestly, stand up. You'll never really catch me sitting in this house watching specials anymore. Because I'm around it 5 days a week. I'm just tired of it all the time.
I mean, it's a bit of a loaded question.
It is.
When I got the job for the Birthplace of Country Music,
Yeah.
I probably would have told you at the time I didn't like country that much.
Really? They converted you.
Yeah. I mean, my dad liked a lot of the classics. Like I remember Buck Owens and stuff like that playing in the house. So I had like a
That's my favorite.
appreciation for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think what I most thought of country at the time was like your pop country stuff.
Sure.
Which, you know, if that's your thing, I'm not at all about music shaming, but
some people deserve it.
Maybe,
Let's be honest. Some of them deserve it.
But yeah, it wasn't my thing. But I think like Bristol's really cool because their emphasis is obviously rooted in tradition and Appalachia, and you know, I like a lot of that stuff. I did like a lot of folk music, and I'd already mentioned I liked a lot of blues music, so a lot of that stuff is so connected.
Yes.
And then like with the festival with Rhythm and Roots, so much of those artists are like, you know, bluegrass adjacent or alternative country adjacent, and more in like the vein that I can really enjoy.
Sure.
So I think I quickly realized that like what I was thinking of as country was this very narrow thing. And I mean, I think
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that's an important
realization. But the older I get,
to
I try to be pretty open-minded with all kinds of genres of music. Because you can look at any genre and there's 1,000 different subgenres. Yeah. And I mean, I really think there's something for everyone in every type of music. Yeah. So I mean, there's so much country I like.
Me too, man.
But to answer your original question, like I definitely go through phases of like really listening to one thing a lot and then don't particularly want to hear it again for 6 months. Yeah. Me too. So maybe not like country's not the only one that happens with. Yeah. But like it's cyclical for me. I think a lot of it kind of revolves around the collections I'm picking up at the time. Sure. Like a couple years ago, I got a really good jazz collection. I listened to a ton of jazz. Then like got a good like punk collection. Listened to a bunch of punk. I don't know. It's fun to kind of like either some of those records I might already love and like remind myself of them, and then you know, there's always records that I don't know. So like picking stuff up and trying it out, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't.
There's so much. Yeah. Even like just, you know, like if I go to Smokestack at the Generalist or anywhere and I'm flipping through, I think because I've been flipping through for 10 years, you definitely like, and I'm sure honestly, I'm almost curious. You may be the only person that could like answer these questions for me. What is the deal with Foghat, man? Like every time I'm shopping for records, I'm like, I'm tired of this same There's 7 Foghat records in every shop. Nobody buys them. Yeah. Nobody buys them.
I don't know. I mean,
and there's others, but that one comes to mind of like, there's always that. There's always like Moody Blues is one I see a lot where it's like, nobody, why does everybody just have this in there? Yeah. There's at Backdoor Records in Johnson City who I love. He's awesome. I love that place too. There has been an Adam Devine comedy album there, I think, for as long as I've been shopping there. Yeah. Bright green cover. It's in the same tiny little comedy section. Yeah. And there's a Mike Epps one too. There's 2 live comedy albums that I think I'm probably the only one that's ever even looked at them. And they've been there for like 10 years. And nobody wants them. Right. There's stuff that just kind of slips through the cracks a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of examples where, like, you know, there might have been an album that I was hunting for 5 years before I finally found it. And then at some point in time happened to find a second copy. I don't need 2, so one goes to the booth. Right. And it might be a record that was a grail for me for years. Yeah. But it'll sit at the booth for 2 years.
Right. Nobody cares. That's probably half my collection, honestly. It's like one thing I got really into the last couple years is Clint Eastwood soundtracks. I got like half his filmography on vinyl, and it's like probably $2 for all of it because everybody's like, hang 'em high, what the hell? Like nobody wants the stuff that I want, which is really nice. Yeah, honestly. But for you, I'm so curious. Is that and this is also kind of a loaded question. Is there like a Great White Whale album that after all these years you've never seen it?
Oh, there's so many.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that blows my mind.
I mean, kind of like what I was hinting at earlier. Like when we first started out, you know, like I remember like one of my goals as a 16-year-old was like, I want the Led Zeppelin discography. Yeah. And I spent like a couple years hunting all those down.
Good place to start.
I've had, a ton of copies
I
of
got
all
100 copies of it. It's crazy. I keep thinking about 1,200, man. It's just, God, it's so impressive. It's so impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Or psychotic.
Or psychotic. Or maybe both. To me, in this room, it's impressive. When you leave it, like, people listening right now might be like, Jesus.
I'll take that.
Like, poor guy's wife. But I'm like, forget her, man. It's about the records.
Yeah. But I mean, as you get more of that common stuff, the stuff that you're most after is, I mean, there's still all kinds, like, recently I've been on, like, a late 80s, 90s, like, shoegazy, dream poppy kick, everything from, like, basics like Mazzy Star, My Bloody Valentine, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those records, I've never once found a copy. I mean, you can find a reissue, but, like, I've never seen those originals.
I'm a little illiterate, too, as far as music history. I mean, I think I have gaps, but that isn't... My understanding is that's a time period where vinyl's not really hip or being produced or purchased, right? So that's why there's that gap.
It's kind of the CD era.
Right,
CDs came in, sort of wiped out vinyl.
Yeah.
A lot of those records, still have a vinyl pressing, but it would have been a much smaller run.
Sure.
So the prices are way high.
Yeah.
And you just never see it.
I think a lot of hip hop is that way too, right? Is my understanding. Like my hip hop collection's like 4 albums, and I mean, you love can find
like the 80s hip hop.
Yeah.
And then once you get into the 90s, like it gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
And then 2010ish is when it kind of started to come back.
Right.
I mean, there's still a lot of albums that were pressed on vinyl. It's just way harder to find during that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything I have. My collection I have kind of broken up into these chunks too, just for quick finding and stuff, like for when somebody wants it on the wall. And I know that I have like a 50s and 60s chunk, and then I have a 70s and 80s chunk. I don't even have a 90s chunk. Like, it doesn't even exist for me because I have so few of them. I don't even know if I have any of them. I know. Well, I have. They're probably all reprints, honestly. I don't know if I have a single original 90s thing because, like you said, it just wasn't going on at the time.
I mean, we've probably, of all the thousands of records we've had in the past decade, I mean, maybe 100 of them are from the 90s or something. Like, you just don't see them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that kind of, in a way, is like a white whale thing, too, of like, you just know they're rare.
And there's so many, like, I like all kinds of different music. Like, I mentioned blues earlier. There's blues records that are $1,000, and I'm not going to go buy a record for $1,000.
No.
So maybe one day I'll get lucky. But and I mean, that goes with everything. Like, I guess if you want a specific example of one that hurts me to think about is like a record that I had and sold, and there's a good shot I'll never find it again. Like, pretty early into Smokestack, this was probably like 2018-ish.
Okay. A couple years in.
My dad had a friend at work who found a box of albums in his garage. And
great start.
It was like, he was like, I don't know much about them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get some help selling them. And I think they're jazz. And at the time, again, like, I always try to be open-minded.
Yeah.
But I hadn't listened to a lot of jazz.
Yeah.
And jazz to me was like,
noise,
80s slow jazz or something like that. like elevator
Panera
music or
Bread
something.
Yeah.
And I mean, since then, like, I've really come to love jazz. It's one of my favorite genres.
Yeah, me too.
But at the time, I just, hadn't really experienced it at all.
Sure.
So I was just like, okay, sure. And then I'd also realized that some jazz albums can be really expensive. So at the time, I saw them, and like, these were like super rare jazz albums. Like, if you're a jazz person, they were like clean, original blue notes from like the late 50s.
Wow.
And in this area too, you never find that.
Right.
Because we don't live in the most culturally diverse area. So there weren't a lot of people in the 50s that were buying obscure jazz albums.
That's a really important element that I don't know if we've touched on too. And I think hip hop, I would probably assume, is very similar. Of like, you're just not gonna find it. Like, records have a tendency to not travel super far all the time from the original place they were sold. So I think there's not a lot of. I would imagine jazz locally. I mean, I think there's probably little enclaves of it around and stuff, but it's not like if you walk into a record shop in New Orleans, jazz everywhere, you know. And I've done that exact experience where it's like, oh, these are things I can't find at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had some really great stuff, and there were two in particular. If there's any jazz heads watching, he had a copy of Hank Mobley's Soul Station and a copy of Freddie Hubbard's first record, like clean original first pressings.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think the deal I kind of cut with this guy was like, you know, he was going to give me like 10 or 15% of what I sold him for.
Sure.
And I think I sold each one for like $500 to $600. Like, they're expensive records then. But since then, both of them are like, for that kind of copy, like $1,500 to $2,000 records. And at the time, like, I didn't know the music. They didn't mean anything to me other than like, oh, this guy has some rare albums. I can help him, you know.
Yeah. And
then a few years later, like, there's some of my favorite records. And I'm like, I had that record in my hands.
No, I
might never have it in my hands again.
Yeah.
But like, so I don't know. Those are a couple like white whale records that bug me because I let them slip through once before.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can probably relate to. I think most people, especially with streaming and stuff, have a more diverse palette for music and an evolving one at that. You know, there's definitely the jazz thing super relatable too, because I think really until I watched the Ken Burns documentary on jazz, honestly, is when I was like, oh, I kind of like jazz. Like, it takes me some getting into things sometimes. And that's definitely a new-ish one for me. But I've even had my grandparents have an old box of records that they've accumulated over the years or whatever. And one of them was from my grandfather worked at Emory and Henry College for like 40 years. And they used to have a radio station on campus. And when it closed down, he got the box of all the 45s they would use for the radio.
Nice.
And I looked through them when he got them, and I remember being like, I don't know, 90% or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Just got the ones I like. And now, I think all the time, how many are in there that, like, now, whatever, 10 years later, that I would kill to have.
Yeah, are they gone now?
They're gone. They're 100% gone. But there are a few, not 45s, but there's a few albums that, like, they had in a box that I looked through at the time, picked the ones I wanted, and I was like, you guys can trash or sell the other ones. And then now, years later, I've gone back and I'll flip the box and I'll take a few more. Yeah. I'm like, now I know these a little bit more. Yeah. That happens to me ongoing, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's a cool feeling, too, that it expands. I would imagine that's how you wind up with 1,200 albums. It's like, when you started 10 years ago, you probably didn't even know a pretty high percentage of that music.
I mean, I think I hinted earlier that, like, both Matt and I, you know, once we started to get excited about the discovery side of music, got pretty obscure with it. So, like, there was a long time where I was trying to find as much, like, weird psychedelic rock as I could find. And, like, all these bands that no one ever heard of. Right. That, like, why did they even get a contract to make a record? It doesn't make sense.
But how are you learning about this, too? Like, at the time? I mean, is it just other record people, conversations? Is it research?
I mean, I think, you know, we obviously have the advantage of living in the internet era, and so, like, you know, there's different people on YouTube or social media, or, you know, lots of different social media accounts where these people would be posting records. You would think, oh, that looks cool. So I don't know, like, all kinds of stuff like that. And then, you know, over the years, like, there's a lot of that is still really cool. And then you can also catch yourself sometimes being like, did I buy this record because it's hard to find? And have I kept it because it costs $150? Or have I kept it because it's good? Right. And you put it on and you're like, there's probably a reason this band never sold any records.
Send that one to the booth.
And there's probably a reason Led Zeppelin sold 1 million records.
There's a reason, for sure.
It all comes out. But I mean, there genuinely is a lot of that obscure music that is really amazing and just was undiscovered. But I mean, that's part of culling down the collection over the years, is like picking up some of that stuff and eventually. Because
realistically, it could be your collection could be 10x what it is if you kept everything that you should, or more than that maybe. I have a friend, Dustin Aaron is a friend of mine who's a comic, and he was actually the first ever guest on this show, and he's been on a few times, and he is that guy who's into a lot of music I'm not, and I love hanging out with him and talking music because it's like rarely do I find, because I'm so all over the map.
Yeah.
It's rare for me to find like a dark spot in my, music. And he's that. He likes weird stuff. And I remember him introducing me to like a couple of different things over the years. And then I think we may have told this story on the show, but one time we were traveling for a comedy show and he's playing me all this different music. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is cool, man. It's cool. It's different stuff. And he had this one CD and he was like, what do you think? And I was like, it's cool. And he'd play another song and he'd be like, what do you think? And I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm trying. Like, give me a second. I'm trying to learn. And then he'd be like, no, really? Like, what do you think? And finally he goes, it's my band. It's me. And I was like, that's not fair.
Put
like,
you on the spot.
Yeah, literally. I was like, you're supposed to show me cool, exciting stuff. Yeah. Not you. Like, this is crazy. But it was good. I mean, it was very fun.
At least you weren't like,
I know.
This isn't for me.
Thank God I wasn't like, this one we could skip. Do you ever, all that to say, do you ever like encounter people who open your eyes to new things at this point? Or are you kind of like, I mean, how much more could you have to learn? I'm sure there's a ton as far as records go. Yeah. But is there ever like a band or a specific genre that you're like, I have no awareness of that at all?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. There's so much. Right?
I mean, I try to be open-minded and, explore different things. Mm-hmm. But
is there anything you hate specifically? And you can say, people listening may have their own opinions about it, but you're allowed to have yours. Like, you already said pop country, so... Yeah. You hate Morgan Wallen, that's fine. You can put that out there. It's all right.
I think it's acceptable at this point to fire a shot at Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. He's firing chairs off the roof. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, there's a sect of my customer base that would strongly disagree with this.
Okay.
I hate Guns N' Roses.
Really? Okay.
I'm not into like the late 80s like hair bands.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I am either. I think I would be with you there. I mean, I can appreciate like the greatest hits or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you were like, you want to buy their whole disc.
Yeah. I mean, again, for the most part, I really try not to judge other people for their music taste.
Sure.
No shame if that's your favorite band.
That's fair.
By any means. I mean, they're legends, but yeah, I'm not putting them on.
Not for you. That's okay too. It's like some stuff, that I love. I'll play for my girlfriend and she's like, it just misses with me. I'm trying to think of like, I feel so on the spot because I've tried so hard to be impressive against someone who has such a more impressive knowledge and collection than me. The one and this is not impressive at all, but the one album that I swear by that even my friend Dustin I mentioned, I got to introduce him to, is an album called Fields by a band called Junip. Do you know them at all?
No.
So love it. And
what era are we talking about?
I think it's 2006 maybe. Okay. Something like that.
Yeah.
Alternative music. My girlfriend always says it sounds like John Wick music. It's like her take on it. I don't know if I agree with that diagnosis, but the lead singer is Jose Gonzalez, who had kind of a solo career as well. And their music was featured in some films I love, like Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I don't know if you know that movie. Yeah. They have a couple tracks on there. That's how I found out about it. Got obsessed with this album, and it's become like a very personal album that really nobody else understands.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that I have, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, that's one that I'm not afraid to go like, you guys would probably hate it. You don't understand. Yeah. But for whatever reason, it just clicks with me.
That's cool.
That being said, if anyone listening wants to check out some cool music, it is cool. And they kind of, I think they did that one album and then maybe another EP and then they split up. So it's like, that's kind of all there is of that group too, which I also like the idea of. More often though, I think I do relate to, I remember I worked at the movie theaters in high school. In Tinseltown. Shout out Tinseltown. It's close. Nice. Not trying to brag, but I did work there. And we used to have this, they had a cop on duty every weekend who would kind of hang out and watch for security. And this guy's name was Officer Maynard. Shout out to Maynard as well. He's still on Bristol, Virginia. You might know Maynard.
Yeah, we see Maynard downtown.
I love Maynard. He's awesome. He used to hang out on the weekends, and he would quiz me and the other usher guys. We'd be, sweeping up popcorn and stuff on 1950s music because he was really into it. And he'd be like, who's the singer of Sea of Love, 1955, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would just ace that shit. And he hit me with one time, and it was Sea of Love, who sung the original Sea of Love. I think it's 55. I didn't know it. And I think every time I hear that song, I think about Maynard and be like, God, I didn't know. And he even gave me hints, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. But I have a coworker from back then that I'm still tight with who's also been on the show, and he loves 50s music, loves doo-wop and soundtracks from the time, and he loves 40s and 30s and 20s. He stops in like early 60s. He hates 70s music, and I just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out, man.
Yeah.
I've tried so hard to break him through. 70s might be the decade for me, if I'm being honest.
I feel that.
There's so much.
I think a lot of the times, if I think I don't like something, it's just because I haven't really given it a good try.
That's probably the case here, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think that's true of pretty much any genre.
To just write off a whole decade is crazy,
it's crazy.
Right? Thank you.
But I mean, we're all
take that,
can
Knox.
be guilty of it sometimes.
Sure.
And, you know, like, it used to drive me nuts when, like, some of the older generations would be like, nothing since 2000's any good. You're like, well, maybe if you're listening to pop radio, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there's 1,000 bands that are very rooted in the music you love that are out there making great records.
Yeah.
And you're just not digging for it.
Yeah. Even country comes to mind for me there, too, because I know a lot of people have the same association you mentioned with, like, I don't like Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs or whatever, you know. I think I would defy anybody who likes country music to sit and listen to some of these newer artists, like whether, you know, Sturgill or Chris Stapleton or Tyler Childers or Coulter, Walt, like, that are all very unique in the space and not connect with some of it. Like, another friend who's been on the show, John Pruitt's a very funny comedian, and he loves that classic country Waylon sound, all this stuff. Never heard of Coulter. Never heard of Sturgill. And he came over here and I got the play, and he was like, this is when is this? And I'm like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is now. And it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. Coulter is a special one, too. I don't know if you get into his stuff
great
at all. But I saw him live. We went to see him in Knoxville in 2018, maybe? Pre-pandemic sometime.
I think he's on like a touring hiatus or something now, too.
Yeah.
So
he announced,
cool
I think, some mental health stuff. And he just... Also, like... I know Rogan's mentioned 1,000 times he's like offered to fly him to Austin, and he won't. He's like, you can come to the ranch and do it. He just wants to be on the ranch, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of sick, honestly.
It is.
I was going to show you this. I can't believe I got you on one. How crazy! I actually got you on an album that I know you don't.
You could get me on thousands. There's so much music.
This is Fields. It's by the band Junip that I mentioned.
Okay. I like the cover.
Weird cover, yeah, super. I'm trying to think of like a top hit off of it. Definitely featured on a couple of movies. You may know a couple tracks, but I just wanted to see.
I mean, I have seen Walter.
Oh, 2010.
So I would have heard him from that.
Yeah, Walter Mitty is definitely on there. 2010. So,
nice.
In my mind, compared to most of the music I listen to, that's new.
Yeah,
that's pretty new age for me.
I'm definitely gonna spin it on the way home.
Not bad, dude. Very different, very cool. I do want to. We could go on forever, and I don't want to do that. So honestly, you're gonna have to tell me when you're. I gotta get out of here. I want to know a question that my girlfriend and I have often pondered. Do you ever buy an album just for the cover art, for your personal collection?
Yes, there's definitely records that I will pick up and take home because it's got a great cover.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'll always keep it.
Right.
I have, like, especially as the collection's grown, I really try to keep what I want to listen to and will actually pull off my shelf and play.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of value in having a record just to live on your shelf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily always stick.
Right.
But there's definitely covers where I think the cover is awesome.
There's some
so I'll
cool
bring it
covers.
home. And sometimes the record's awesome too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Sometimes the record's not. And then it goes to the Generalist.
Yeah. Get it out of here. Yeah, I think, do you have one specific album too that's like, let's just say it's a Saturday night, the wife's out of town, you got nothing to do, and you're like, I'm going to listen to this out. Is there one that comes to mind where you're like, I throw that on? That's my thing. Honestly, that might be mine right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to caveat the wife's out of town.
Well, that's true.
So I would bring out the Stooges.
She hates them.
Garage punk stuff.
She hates that stuff.
Yeah. A little too aggressive for her, a little too loud.
Sure. That's fine. It's very reminiscent of what you said about your parents. Of like, the jazz was a little too aggressive, a little too loud, and she's like, turn that racket down.
Yeah.
Very, very similar.
Oddly enough, if the wife was in town, I would bring the jazz out because she's a jazz fan.
Really?
So that's a good, we'll listen to this together music.
You introduced her to a lot of music? I mean, was she a big music head when you guys met? Was that a prerequisite?
She loved music too. One of our first times we hung out, it wasn't like an official date or anything at the time, but like she wanted to take me to a record shop.
Really?
She had a record collection. I think my nerdiness with it has like far surpassed her level of how much she cares about records by now.
Sure.
But at the time, we were both like, I mean, we met in high school and everything.
Okay.
So we were 16 at the time.
So
a little
is
bit
this
before
pre-Smokestack? Okay, gotcha.
A little bit. But like right around the time I was starting to collect records, she had records. I mean, I thought that was cool.
For sure.
And
yeah.
So, I mean, she's introduced me to a lot. I'm sure I've introduced her to some stuff too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it works both ways.
That's such a cool thing too. I mean, I actually went on a date in high school with this girl who, God, I was crazy about her at the time. And she was like, her mom had an album at some point, like an old country album or something. Yeah. And she was like, do you want to go to Mr. K's at the time? I didn't even know. Yeah. I'm like 16. I was like, yeah, I guess. And her mom's CD was there. And I remember being like, cool. Are you the coolest girl on planet Earth? Like, whatever. And that was the only date we ever went on. But still to this, I'll see her occasionally. She'll be like, remember when we went on that date? We were at a record shop. It is a cool thing to like go hang out. And it kind of, you get to flex a little and be like, I'm cool. I know this. You know, my mom's got that or whatever. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. I think my girlfriend did not grow up with a ton of music or movies or anything, really any culture at all. So I've got to like introduce her to a lot of things, and that's been cool.
Yeah.
I will say some of it I regret. Like, I cannot get in her car without Hooked on a Feeling playing.
Yeah.
At some point, to the point where I'm like, I am so tired of this ooga chaka. Can we play? And she's like, I listen to it once a day. I listen to it every day to get hyped up. And I'm like, it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy.
I don't think it's ever been like officially, you know, it's never been like a ground rule that's set. But I think kind of the way it's worked itself out is like I have so many records and I'm putting records on all the time.
Yeah.
That when we're in the car, she's picking the music.
Sure.
And it's her time to shine.
That's fair. That is fair. She's earned it. So you're spinning records all the time at home. You put them on.
I mean, you know, I can't claim to like come home and burn through 3 records a night or you know, anything like that. But, you know, I try to play them when I'm around and can listen. Yeah.
That's special too. And I'm sure that you probably have things in your collection that like if your dad's coming over, throw it on. I do that with guests. I mean, I don't think I knew you or scouted or stalked you enough ahead of time to like throw in something to impress you. But definitely if I have a friend coming over who I know likes this thing, I'll make sure it's on. And I do that even with Spotify. If I go pick up my grandma in the car, I'll make sure that something she likes is on. I think we just kind of do that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fun to share something you love with someone else and hope it resonates with them too.
Yeah, it's super special. What I think is a really cool aspect too that we kind of touched on earlier is like from the Smokestack perspective, maybe it's stuff like a Guns N' Roses album that you're like, I don't get it. But you sell it to somebody who does get it and they love it. Yeah. And then even though you don't personally care for it, it's still like because of you a little bit. That is cool. That is really cool.
It's fun.
Yeah. I think, again, we could talk for hours and hours, but I'm so curious about the process for you too. Like when you sit down and you buy a collection, is there ever like one thing I've encountered a lot when buying collections, because I used to do that a little bit, is like they always have stories. Yeah, the people selling them, and sometimes it's very personal things about that album for them. Is there anything like that that kind of lives in your memory, where like now every time you see this album, you think about that guy in that trailer or that estate sale, whatever? I have a few of those myself.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine this is uncommon for people that collect records, but I think with my collection, for the most part, probably a good 90% of records I remember where I got them from, who I got them from, and stuff like that. As far as buying, like, we really try to be as fair as we possibly can with people. A lot of times records are so personal, and a lot of times the way we acquire collections is it'll be a relative who's passed away. And sometimes it's viewed as just another box we need to get out of the way. Right. And other times it's viewed as like, you know, my dad loved these records. These were a huge part of his life and identity. And so we try to be very mindful of that. And I mean, of course, music and records mean a lot to us too. So it's not hard to do, but we want to, you know, we want to make sure we're taking care of people and not just going in and how about this amount for them and, you know, leave or whatever.
I would imagine too that they recognize that in you too,
I would hope so,
and appreciate that they're going somewhere that they'll be appreciated, you know. I
mean, like I said, we try to deal as fairly as we can with people. Obviously we need to make a little bit of money.
Sure
But try to make good fair offers, and we have a lot of people that, you know, will have a good experience with us, and then, you know, we'll have a friend who is in a position where they're ready to sell some records. And,
Yep.
you know, we get a lot of referrals. So
That's awesome too.
I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stories like that are special to me. Like,
Yeah.
shout out Betsy. There's no way you're watching this.
Shout out to Betsy. Dude, just by the name, I'll tell you, she ain't watching. She ain't watching this on YouTube.
But there was this lady.
Shout out to Betsy.
So I got a message a couple years ago from, you know, this other guy I know from records.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, a family friend is selling her husband's record collection who
Gotcha.
recently passed.
Yeah.
And he was like, I went and looked at it. You know, he's like a hair metal guy. He's a big Kiss dude. He might like the Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
No judgment.
He's going to hate that part of the
But yeah, he went, and I think she knew he liked records, so he went and looked at them, and it wasn't the type of stuff that he was after.
Yeah.
So he, you know, gave her my number. So I go over, and it's like a dream collection for me. Like,
Really?
It's one of my favorite collections I've ever bought. Just like so much stuff where it, you know, there were records in there that I've been looking for 10 years and I never found.
Yeah. Hundreds of albums in this collection?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
It was a
big.
good sized collection.
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess it was 600 or so.
Wow.
So
Dude, I felt so good about my 300 before you got here today. All of a sudden,
It
I'm
is a
like,
pretty
I
big
suck.
one.
I got to step it up.
But yeah, I mean, it was a mix of like records I've been after for a long time, and there were records where like I might have already had them, but I had chased them for a long time.
Sure.
Just like this guy's taste was like right up my alley. And
Yeah.
it was the kind of stuff you never see around here.
Mm.
And I remember being like so excited and like flipping through and finding these records that I was like, you know, that was a case where it wasn't like, oh, cool, it's Rumors, I can get $35 for this. It was like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this record forever.
Like, this is mine.
And like she could see that like genuine excitement in me, and like she knew the music meant so much to her husband that I think she was really excited to see me excited about it.
Sure.
And it's also always kind of fun, especially with, I mean, a lot of these records were from the 70s and 80s.
Right.
And a lot of that generation just assumes no one young cares about that music. So I think they get excited, you know, being like, oh, you know who Big Star is and stuff. So, I mean, that was fun. She was like a super cool old lady, like ex-hippie, like awesome.
Hippie for life.
Really fun person.
For life, yeah.
She was telling me all these stories with it and everything. And then like I got around, made her like as good of an offer as I could. And I think, I don't know what she would have let me have them for.
Sure.
But I think she seemed kind of shocked with like the number I threw out.
Higher than she expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was cool to see that, and like, you know, it's always fun to have her leave knowing that these are going to someone that's going to really enjoy a good chunk of them.
Right.
And then also know that the ones that I don't need are going to be rehomed to people that are going to be equally excited to take those records home.
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of stuff's really fun.
That's super memorable, too. And, I mean, obviously, 600 albums, you probably don't always think of her with each one. But
but there's
whatever
some
the most special
where
ones.
I, like, pull them off regularly and remember that day and how excited I was to find them and how cool she was and everything.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
that's awesome.
Stuff like that's really fun. She ended up referring me to, like, 4 other collections. I was on, like, a Betsy hot streak where she would just call me and be like, hey, I got another friend.
A Betsy hot streak might be the title of this episode, just for the record. I do think...
I hope Betsy sees this. She was awesome.
Shout out to Betsy. I have a few, even I've noticed, like, when people come over, well, it's comic friends of mine, and I'm trying to, you know, show off comedy albums I have or whatever, that when I'm showing them the album, I can't, like, not tell you the story behind it. You know what I mean? Like, I have to... The one that for sure got... I have a copy of Cheech and Chong's first album.
Yep.
And I bought it
Is that the one
Facebook
with the rolling
Marketplace.
papers in it? Yep.
Yes, yellow one with the
Yep.
So I went to buy it, and this guy just off Marketplace, he had like a 20 album collection or something, and I bought all 20. It's like, I think he had posted a couple of pictures, and I saw that one, and there's like a Star Wars soundtrack in there, something. And so I went to get it, and I'm looking through them, and I've got that Cheech and Chong in my hands. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, you know, when I bought it, it came with rolling papers in the cover. And I go, oh, no way. Are they still in there? And he goes, no.
Long gone, buddy.
Easily one of my favorite interactions ever.
Yeah.
He just was like, no. Like, it was so
Yeah.
so funny. What a dumb question. What a dumb question.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, literally. He was like, what, are you, an idiot? No, they're not an idiot.
I mean, we've got... There's so many fun memories of, like, going out and buying collections and meeting all these characters.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorites to think about was... I mean, we get ourselves into all kinds of weird scenarios.
I can imagine. You're going in some crazy houses.
There was this one guy. This was years ago. I have no clue what his name was.
Shout out to No Name.
Yeah, shout out to him. He might recognize it from the description.
Sure. Somebody might be like, that's Uncle Frank or whatever. Yeah.
So I don't remember how I got connected with him, but I didn't know anything other than he had some records he wanted to sell.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we do house calls, we typically try to go together, me and Matt, have the buddy system.
Okay.
Because you never know what you're going to run into.
I was going to ask, walk me through this. So you find a listing online or referral?
Yeah, I mean,
call Matt,
we're approached all kinds of different ways.
Sure.
I don't remember in this particular instance.
You're like, we're going.
But I usually call up Matt.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to go look at some records?
Yeah.
And
he's
so we
down.
go out there. Yeah.
That's cool.
He's always down.
That's cool.
I mean, that's the fun part. That's the
So,
treasure.
I'm
of it.
honestly envious already of this story that I'm like, you guys got to call me next time. This would be so much fun.
Yeah, it really is.
I love weird
I mean, that's one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
But this guy...
That's comedy, too.
I'm going to try to describe it as best as I can, but
Okay, lay it
whatever
on.
I'm able to get out is not going to be anywhere close to as crazy as it actually
Just
was.
know, this is the radio.
It's way
yeah.
crazier.
Sure.
So I remember talking to this guy on the phone, and he was like, he's this real old country boy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm out in Lingarden. And I mean, that's a good start right away.
Already.
We're going.
Anyone who's not local, Lingarden,
Yeah.
notorious for just debauchery, drugs,
salt of the
poverty,
earth out there.
just a lot of Tims walking around. If you catch my drift, a lot more Tims than big lawns. If you know what I'm saying?
Love them. Bless them.
Bless Tim. God bless Lingarden out there.
Um,
Garden
yeah.
is the most ironic. It is not a garden, Lingarden.
So we're like, all right, we're there.
There is a guy who went pretty viral on TikTok a while back, just highlighting the people walking down the street in the Lingarden area. I don't know if you saw this, but like there was a hotel they tore down.
I can totally see it.
He literally was just like interviewing junkies at this abandoned hotel in Lingarden, and it blew up online. And people were like, "Where in the God's name is?" And I'm like, "That's my hometown. That's literally the next town. I've been there so many times." So you go to Lingarden.
Yeah. So I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, "What's your address?" He's like, "I'll tell you this. You just get off that Lingarden exit, take a left. You go about 3 football fields down, and you'll find me." And I'm like, "All right."
I mean,
So like, we're already excited.
doable. Sure.
We found his house somehow.
Yeah.
We walk in the door. You walk right into his living room. It's not a huge living room.
I wouldn't imagine so.
I don't even know how to successfully convey this next part.
Okay.
He was a bit of a craftsman.
I see.
He had built this water fountain in the middle of his living room. I mean, this thing was like almost up to the ceiling.
This is my favorite. Just for the record, we're just getting started. This is my favorite story in the history of the show. Go ahead. Okay.
This thing's at least 10 feet across.
Water
It's a
fountain?
massive water fountain.
Running water in
running,
it.
yes.
Okay.
DIY, he built it. Like,
Sure,
I don't
sure.
know, paper mache this thing or
Right.
something. Right smack in the middle of his living room. Like,
He's like,
didn't fit the space at all.
it's a conversation starter.
But it was cool.
yeah.
And so we're like, whoa.
Pretty sick.
He's got spaceships hanging from his ceiling. Like, I don't know if they were models or whatever they built, but like big spaceships.
I love this guy.
I feel like he had like 3 drum sets set up and stuff.
Yeah.
Just a real character.
Sure.
A
A lot of free time.
We
this
walk
guy.
in, he was like, "Boys, you're in luck. I just made a fresh pot of chicken and dumplings." And we were like, we just say thank you.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we didn't try this guy's chicken and dumplings. Maybe that was a missed opportunity.
Now there's a white whale. That's a regret.
Yeah.
That guy's chicken and dumplings.
If this guy's hearing this, call me up. I'll come back.
I'll
We'll take you up on
We'll
that
do
bowl
a
of chicken
pod.
and
I'll bring the
dumplings.
mics. We'll do a live review of the chicken and dumplings.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, we bought a handful of records from him, and he
Yeah.
was like super nice, just
Sure.
like eccentric, really fun to talk to. He didn't. Yeah, he's one of those people that didn't act like any of it was weird. Like it wasn't at all like, oh, don't mind the water fountain.
Right. It's my favorite. It's my favorite type of person.
Just him. Yeah,
Step around the spaceship. Come on back here.
Yeah.
Try these chicken and dumplings.
So I mean, that's a particularly fun one to think back on.
When I'm for sure, when I'm thinking about the collection of his too, I mean, is it what you would assume, or was it like, how crazy if you get in there and he's like, I got Wu-Tang's first album? Whoa.
From what I remember, I remember it being, your average classic rock stuff.
Sure.
I don't remember anything
Couple Dark Side of Moons in there for sure. Yeah. That would be awesome if you're like, what? This 80s hip hop collection? Yeah. What is this doing in here? Yeah.
But I think that guy was definitely more memorable than his records were. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of fun stories, and
it happens.
For the most part, it's all good experiences. Every now and then you'll come up on someone that The worst is like, I got this one guy that was like, "Nah, I want to go ahead and tell you, I've looked all these up on BarnesandNoble.com," and I was like,
"Cool, man.
All right, well, that's for a sealed reissue,
right?"
And you have a destroyed copy of Led Zeppelin 1.
Barely plays.
That I can't even sell.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need $40 a piece. And I'm like, all right.
All right.
I'm sorry. I don't think we're going to be able to work something out
here. Those I see occasionally on Marketplace. I'll still go look randomly, and it'll be like, just yesterday I saw a copy of a really obscure Johnny Cash album. Not like one of the, must-haves or anything. $40. And I was like, no. I thought about just messaging the lady and going, take this down. Like, as someone who owns 40 of Johnny Cash's albums, take this down. This is crazy. It's a $2 record. Take it down.
There was a Marketplace listing pretty recently where this guy had a Beatles Butcher album. Are you familiar with the Butcher cover?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if anyone doesn't know, the Beatles put out this record, had a controversial cover, immediately got shelved.
Yeah.
And so the solution, instead of just throwing away all those album covers, was to paste a new cover over it. So, like, the grail is to find the original that's never been pasted over.
Right.
But it's easier to find them where it's got the band cover underneath the replacement cover. Well, that's the version this guy was claiming it was.
Okay.
And I've had hundreds of copies of that record.
Yeah.
They're never the Butcher cover. They're always the safe cover that was reissued after. So there's, of course, the safe cover with nothing underneath it. And then there's the few safe covers that have the valuable band cover underneath it. So he was claiming he had the copy that had the band cover underneath it. And there's a few signs on how to identify it.
Okay.
And I mean, they're, you got to know what to look for.
Yeah.
But you can find all this online. And it's not, you don't have to be a scientist or something.
You can find it on BarnesandNoble.com.
So I just sent him a message and asked for a couple pictures that would give me what I needed to determine if it was legit or not. It wasn't. I mean, he was claiming that it was.
Right.
And I didn't want to argue with the guy. I wasn't going to, it was Facebook Messenger. I'm not going to get in there and be like, good luck, man, this isn't real. Yeah. So I just tried to bow out.
Go to war with him.
I just tried to bow out. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I'll have to pass.
Yeah.
But I guess he thought he had me on the hook or something. So he's like,
he's a salesman.
What do you mean, man? He was like, you don't want it just because you can't see it in the photos? I guarantee you this is authentic. Yeah. And I, again, tried to just be like,
the old take my word for it. Yeah.
I'm going to have to pass. And eventually he's like, I know this is it. And so I tried to be very respectful, but I wrote out this little paragraph of like, listen, I've bought and sold records for a decade. I've had 100 copies of this record. I've never had the Butcher cover, but I can assure you it's not a Butcher cover unless it has, these identifiers.
Yeah.
And his message back was, listen, man, I can feel it in my bones. This is real. And he's like, I'll give it to you for $700.
I can feel it in my bones. It's crazy.
It just makes me laugh thinking, did he think there was any shot where I was going to say, all right.
Right.
You feel it in your bones.
You know what?
Here's $700.
On that note, Only because of the bones thing. You got me.
Since you feel it in your bones.
That's so crazy.
So I don't know. There's funny stories like that.
Well, that's another one. That butcher cover, whatever. That's like most people who know would know. Like, you're not fooling anybody, you know. One that I have, that I think I was a little misled on just how like collectible or rare it was, is I have this album that I think is really cool. It's called Star Wars and Other Galactic Funk. Are you familiar with this at all?
Is it their Christmas record, or is it?
No, it's a different one.
Okay.
I don't have the Christmas one.
I know there's a sought after Star Wars Christmas thing.
Yeah. So this one is a weird. It's after the release of what is now Episode 4, A New Hope, when it's just Star Wars, the first 77, I think it is. This one's like 78, and it's another company just totally like stole it. Like, I guess maybe LucasArts didn't have all the copyright in place or something. So the album is a disco version of the original Star Wars soundtrack, and the cover is hilarious. I'm gonna pull it up. We may have even talked about this on the show before. It is one of my favorite things. My friend Chris was on this show recently, and he's a big Star Wars guy, and I got to show him that for the first time.
I mean, that sounds like a grail.
Dude, it's kind of sick, honestly. And I play it for people all the time. It is like laughably bad. It's so disco. What a weird cover.
Yeah.
But I think it's among the ones that they're like, if you ever find this record, you know, whatever. And so I just bought it on a whim because I had read that somewhere because I'm an idiot. And I paid like $2 for it. But it is like, it's very interesting. Mecco, that's the company that stole it. So the first side of the album is all the original Star Wars soundtrack, and then the back is like other stuff they just thought sounded cool, you know. But it's a lot of like disco lasers and stuff. It's wild. It's a wild time.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's a weird one. And I will say I've only ever seen the one copy I have. I've never seen it again. But I definitely, when I first started collecting, just read somewhere that was collectible or something, and so now I do own it. But that's maybe the only one ever that I've bought, and I'm a Star Wars fan anyways. But that's probably the only one that I was like, oh, I think that's maybe worth something.
Right. I mean, the cover looks familiar, but I don't think I've had one.
Really?
I feel like I must have seen it online somewhere.
Probably. It's crazy to me that you've never seen it too, because that kind of confirms to me that maybe it is a little more rare than I thought. But I still don't know that it's valuable. I mean, it's listed, you know, online for less, but it is maybe rare at least, which is kind of cool just to have. Super obscure, but when I have people on who love Star Wars, they do like that. Yeah. And you'll have to check it out, dude. It is awful. It is just awful. It is so unnecessary disco. It's very fun. I do want to say, and then I'll wrap up and let you get out of here. Let's talk just briefly about, so, you know, we talked about the origin of Smokestack. You guys are doing the pop-ups. You get the booth, then you've been at the Generalist several years now, and then recently you expanded. You got the whole window. You got the merch, which we're both wearing, which I purchased, by the way. He didn't bring me this. Also, thank you. I should say I've worn this on stage I don't know how many times.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know how many towns. Like, I'm a walking billboard for you guys. It's a great shirt.
I figured I'd do a little shameless self-promotion.
Sure.
And then we happen to be twinning,
honestly,
which is even better.
I think I've worn it on the show a number of times too. Nice. I think it's a pretty good chance that I've given you a lot of free promotion. Nice. But so you expanded, you got awesome hats now too, shirts, merch, all these things in the window, bigger booth, more do you roughly how many albums are at the Generalist right now, do you think?
So we essentially have our inventory kind of split. If you've been to the booth, there's like the bins on top, which is kind of the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
I would estimate 700-ish albums at a time.
Okay.
We try to restock it pretty often.
Yeah.
And then we also have like some bottom shelf stuff where we put all our like dollar bin records.
That's where I usually
snoop through. There's a lot of cool stuff
if
down there.
If you ever go and you're like, stuff's missing, that's me. That's me. I'm down there digging around. Yeah.
So I mean, if you combined everything, it probably doubles that. It gets closer to like 1,400-ish, I'd guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the split.
That's huge. I mean, and I know when Laura was on the show, I think maybe you all were getting ready to do that or something. I can't remember if we talked about it on camera, but definitely she and I talked about you all, and she's actually who connected me with you initially. Okay. With this expansion now, I mean, is it like, it's a lot to manage for the two of you, I'm sure. You spend so much time sourcing and pricing, and people don't, I'm sure, think about a lot that goes into it. But is there any goal now to like expand, maybe go full brick and mortar at some point, or is it kind of like, we like it where it is for now?
I mean, so we've been steadily growing, but it's, you know, it's been a slow burn. over 10 years.
Well, you wait till this episode comes out. It's gonna this is life changing right here. All 45 people that watch this. You never know. Never know. With algorithms, you never know.
Yeah. But pretty much since the beginning, like it's been like a dream that we never took too seriously to have a record store.
Sure.
So I don't know. Maybe something will happen one day.
Who knows?
But I don't think that's in the cards for like immediate future, at least.
Yeah.
We did pop up. I mean, we've been in the Generalist for a little over a year and a half now. So that's still relatively new to us and like the grand scheme of how long we've been doing it.
Right. And the expansion is just a couple months, right?
Yeah. That was February, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, that's super new. I mean, we were doing pop-ups for years and years, and we loved the pop-ups. But they were a lot of work. I mean, we started out doing a few a year, and then later on we got to the point where we were trying to do like one a month.
Gotcha.
And it was a lot of fun, but we also like started teetering on like burning ourselves out on it.
Sure.
We had started to bring out this ridiculous setup where we'd bring like 30 crates out.
Wow.
Which is probably 3 times what we have at the Generalist.
Yeah.
I mean, records are heavy, hard to move around.
You renting a U-Haul for this or something? Like, how are you transporting?
There was one point where we did rent a U-Haul.
Really?
For the most part, like we would have trucks we could borrow.
Sure.
And then Matt's an electrician. Eventually, he bought like a work van and stuff, and so that was perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that. Like it was fun, and we really enjoyed that time. There's things we miss about it, and there's things we don't. I think the thing we miss the most is like being able to interact with our customers. Yeah. Have that face-to-face experience, talking music, seeing what people are excited about.
Because you're never at the Generalist, really.
Yeah. I mean,
just when you're restocking.
We're not sitting there working it, obviously.
Right. That's true, yeah.
So like for a long time, we knew exactly who our customers were.
Right.
We would know who was coming back, who we were seeing for the first time.
Yeah.
And like as you mentioned, you've bought a good chunk of records from me, but like I had no idea you bought a single record.
Yeah.
So like I do miss that.
Yeah.
But in general, like we love being at the Generalist. Like, don't have anything bad to say about it, and it's been a great step up for us. We started, I think, August of 2024, 25. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting my years
with
mixed
them
up.
At the Generalist. Yeah.
And we didn't know Laura or Bradley or any of them at the time. We'd been customers of the Generalist for a while.
Sure.
But we started considering getting a booth.
Yeah.
And it felt like a good spot. I mean, for one thing, right downtown in the heart of Johnson City, which was cool. Yeah. We could also tell that they had like, they curated it. They had an intentionality with everything they did. Yeah. Which we appreciated.
Very connected to their vendors too. I mean, she's on this show took time to give many of them a platform. I think including you guys. Like we talked about, I know for sure we talked about the chocolate covered potato chips that she sells there at that company that I'm like,
they're great.
That is crack. That stuff is so good. And she's so promotional for her vendors. It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
So that's kind of what drew us to the Generalist. Like it was the only place we contacted. Like we didn't shop around or anything. It was just that's where we wanted to go.
Wow.
And I think we initially had some reservations. Like we were having fun with the pop-ups. We weren't completely sure that we wanted to do it.
Sure.
But I mean, right from the bat, Laura's awesome. That. So like she was super helpful, super friendly. And from the jump, I think one of the things we loved about working with them is she was great about like, it's our business, but it's your vision,
right?
And it's your passion and dream, and like, we'll give you the space and you just run with it. Yeah. So we started with this table. I think we had like, I don't know, 6 crates out to start or something. So it was pretty small, and coming from like the design and branding world, like I always had bigger aspirations for it.
Yeah.
And it was great that, like, you know, Laura and Bradley were both like believed in the vision.
Right.
And were essentially like, yeah, we back you up, go for it.
Yeah, because it would be pretty easy for them to put a ceiling on you guys. Too,
Yeah.
and go, this is as big as we want you here or whatever.
Yeah.
But they've given you a whole window now, like that front prime real estate.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I think, you know, we'd been talking about, like, there were different things even with our original space where over time we wanted to, you know, keep stepping it up. So, like, we started with a table with 6 crates.
Right.
We invested in this cool little, like, modular display, which is still what we're using now, just in a different configuration.
Yeah.
We had that for a while. And I mean, at that point, like, we'd been in there for a while. We had a good working relationship with them.
Yeah.
As we were, like, continuing to grow, I think I floated at one point, like, hey, I know you got a window booth up there that is just kind of your workstation. Like, if you would ever be open to renting it out, let me know.
Yeah.
And, like, I was kind of expecting it to be something where they were like, I don't know. But, like, when I mentioned that to Bradley, like, right from the jump, he was like, yeah, that'd be sweet. And, you know, it took a little while for it to all develop.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, a few months later, they reached back out and were like, hey, you still want that window booth?
That's awesome.
And, I mean, we were in.
So they believe in you guys, too.
Yeah.
And I think that, I wonder sometimes, like, everybody on this show, you know, whether, like, Spence, that owns Cascade Draft House, who sponsors the show, he's great. And one thing he mentioned during his whole process is, like, he quit his day job, and there's, like, an 18-month period where he has no job, and he's got the space, he's in there doing it, and he's like, I can't even sit here and list all the people that pitched in or believed in us or helped or painted or whatever it took to get us in. But the fact that you guys have that above you, you know, in his case, it's like my employees, my family, my friend. In your case, it's like, no, the people that we're paying to use the space turned around and extended a hand. That's really special.
Yeah. I mean, it's been really fun. You know, I know other dealers that sell out of antique stores and stuff, and, you know, they really enjoy it and it works for them. But it's kind of more hands off, like, you know, you do your thing and we do our thing. But, like, it's been nice how collaborative it is. Yeah. And we've really enjoyed, like, you know, it's still a small space, but, like, it feels like our little corner of the store. And we've been able to really, like, tailor it and customize it. Sure. Like, even little stuff like putting up wall shelves and stuff like that has been fun to have a whole little, you know.
The display is awesome too. I mean, with the shirts and the hats and everything. And I gotta ask, did you do the logo too? I assume because you're a designer. I love the logo.
Thank
too.
you.
As a fellow designer, I do like it. Also, "Keep on Chuglin" is like one of my favorite songs that almost nobody knows. But that's an old CCR song that's great.
We had shirts. We've done a couple different shirts, but it had probably been, I don't know, 6 or more years since we had some shirts. And, you know,
interesting.
We were always wanting to do some more merch, but hadn't quite gotten around to it.
Ultimately, though, a brick and mortar, like a record store, that's kind of the wildest. Like if somebody came to you and said, here's $3 billion. Do whatever you want.
Right.
Record store.
Yeah. If I didn't have to worry about supporting a family and just had disposable income. Yeah,
You're speaking my language, brother. Yeah, I mean, you think I want to sit at the cubicle 40 hours a week and design crap? No, man. I want to be telling jokes or doing this, you know? But it's like, much like yourself, I managed to do both. And I think that without even actually knowing, I have some awareness of like the effort and the passion and the drive that you and Matt, too, again, shout out to Matt, put into this thing to develop it to the point where now there's things like guys like me who are like, hey, man, I don't know you at all. I just really fucking love what you do. Like, I think you're really awesome at it. That's cool. You want to talk about it. Like, that's only because of the hard work that you guys have put in. And I see it, and I think the customers probably see it in some way, you know, like when they go to your booth and it's clean and it's organized and it's...
I hope some of that
it shows.
Translates.
As a guy who spent a lot of years, and still does, digging through dusty old cardboard boxes in people's houses where there's a fountain in the living room, you know, and spaceships from the ceiling. It's a pleasure to go to your booth.
Well, thank you. We try to keep you know the user experience pretty nice.
Oh, it's great,
and man. It is a lot of work, but it's a labor of love, and it's a very fun creative outlet. Like, you know, for myself, like, I'm a creative professional, so I go into work every day and design things, and I'm very fortunate with what I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's different to design for other people and have set goals versus designing something where you're, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you're doing it purely for your own enjoyment.
Yeah. That's this show for me, for sure.
Yeah.
And we even talked a little before about all the effort on the back end that goes into it and that people don't really understand or know or care, honestly, which is fine. I don't want to harp on it, but it's definitely a labor of love for sure.
Yeah.
I can relate. Yeah.
But everything from like, trying to design some merch to making our booth as cool as we can figure out how to make it. Like, I don't know, it's a fun challenge.
Tough competition there too, because everything's so cool at the Generalist that you're like, if we drop the ball, it's gonna show.
Right.
Like, these booths look awesome.
There's so much great stuff in there.
They're the greatest, man. They're the greatest. Thank you so much for coming on. Please promote. I know you have the July date coming up. Any socials, any website, anything at all, and I'll put it all in the description too.
Sure.
That way people can follow you.
Yeah, so these days, like we were saying, the Generalist is the best place to shop us.
Yeah.
Generalist is open 7 days a week, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Late, too. They're open really late during the summer.
Yeah.
Like 10 or 11 or something.
Flexible hours. It's awesome. We try to do regular drops, so hopefully keep coming back, and we'll keep having some new stuff for you.
Is there a day of the week that people should like?
A lot of time it's weekends.
Okay.
So a lot of time Friday, occasionally Saturday. But the best way to stay in the know on when we're going to be dropping records is to follow our social media.
Yeah.
Primarily Instagram. We're on Facebook too.
Okay.
But at Smokestack Records for both of those.
There you go.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Love it. Yeah, that'll all be in the description too. So hopefully, again, the listeners support. And also, if you don't live locally, because I do where I travel for comedy and hand out stickers and stuff, occasionally people might follow the show. If you happen to be listening from anywhere else, I think the message I would assume is just like shop local. Just buy records from somebody who lives near you.
Yeah.
Go to some guy's house with spaceships on the ceiling and
absolutely
look through stuff.
Mean, we love what we're doing, but we're not necessarily doing anything too unique. There's some record nerd in every city you can imagine that would love to sell you a record.
There's a couple, we'll talk after too. There's a couple shops I kind of want your opinion on too. you can maybe talk trash more when we cut, but I am curious. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you coming on. Come back anytime too. And if you guys have like a pop-up coming up you need to promote or whatever, we can dive into design stuff too. I feel like this is one of those guests where I can talk for 25 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just,
it was nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. Thanks for coming, guys. Please support the show. Support Smokestack. Bye.